Hello, all you deadly mob out there. Welcome to the Mums and Bubs Podcast. I'm Bo Dela Cruz, your host, and I have with me the lovely Christy Wattigo, the birthing and early childhood manager, Katie Coleman, a family support worker and soon to be a deadly midwife, and Kate Jarrett, who is a midwife at the Birthing in Our Community Centre there out at Salisbury. How are we, ladies?
Great.
Deadly. Oh, I'm all right. You know, dealing with 3 kids, working, training,
juggling everything.
Trying to do everything as usual, but I'm getting there. That's what strong mums do.
Strong women.
Yeah. So today we're going to be yarning about tobacco cessation through a Mums and Bubs lens, baby massaging, you know, and it's not just when baby comes out, it's whilst you're pregnant. Also, we're going to have a yarn about the new Deadly Mums app. So we're going to cut to some ads and we'll be back soon.
Hey Mom, can still enroll us in kindy for 2021. We just need to turn 4 or June 30. Kindy is a deadly choice because it's fun. Make new friends and learn new skills. Enroll us in any kindy. Give us the best start and learn more at deadlykindy.com.au.
Welcome back, you mob. We're just reintroducing this session. We're having a Mums and Bubs podcast today. But firstly, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians on the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. So we're going to have a bit of a yarn, ladies. Very casual. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about some serious things. And probably the most serious thing today is about tobacco cessation and having a yarn about, you know, smoking whilst pregnant. And our mob have the highest rates of smoking in pregnancy, unfortunately, which is, you know, a tough thing to swallow, but it's realistic. So positive change is happening though, as the number of smokers is decreasing within our mob and especially within our pregnant mums as well. But there are some complications that can arise whilst pregnant. So I'll throw it to you, Christy. What are some of the complications that you've seen and that can be whilst pregnant and you're smoking?
Yeah, sure. So one of the big ones that stand out for me and I've seen some of my own mob experience is baby being too small, you know, and that comes with different complications and baby coming too early as well. So that really does impact baby's growth and then therefore their start to life. So that's why it's important for us to either stop at this point or reduce altogether. So that's one of many, but, you know, a few others there are some miscarriage. We could always, you know, that is a possibility and it does happen, unfortunately. Of course, there's the extreme of birth defects, etc., and also stillbirth, which does happen. So again, getting back to the importance of just, you know, giving up to be the strong, best, like deadly mum that you can be. But, you know, if you need to as well, and I know that's, you know, we live in a stressful world, a complex environment, and sometimes we do go to that for that reason. But it's also about finding other strategies or reducing and minimising, you know, those types of things.
100%. And then in this stage, like, we've got to put baby first, don't we? And what are some of the benefits by not smoking?
So some of the benefits are growing a healthier baby. So being healthy as a woman and as a family, but also growing a baby that is a healthier size, giving that baba a really great start to life. So making sure that women can carry their babies to term and not just for that particular time in their life, but the long-term trajectory for babies that are born when they're supposed to be born is so much better.
And supposed to be born at the weight they're supposed to be born at, so we're giving them that, you know, good start in life.
Exactly. And I think it's really great that women have the power. They've got the power and the opportunity to make these healthier choices to keep their families healthy and happy.
100%. And we talk about SIDS as one of those, I suppose, complications that can happen. But with a lot of our mob, we do co-sleep, and that's how it's been for a very, very long time, which can be unsafe. but there are ways to co-sleep safely, aren't there? So what are some of those ways that you can do it? Because we know, like I know myself, I've done it as well, you know, having baby feeding at night and on the boob, and, you know, they're sleeping right next to you and you both fall asleep because it's 2:00 in the morning. Let's be realistic here. We're both busted.
It really happens. And I think, you know, we wouldn't be doing a good service if we said don't co-sleep, because these are some of the guidelines that are out there. But at the end of the day, you know, we want you to co-sleep safely, and it's also that bonding time with the baby. And let's face it, if you are breastfeeding, you know, on the susus or bottle feeding, doesn't matter. But look, one thing that we'll say, we'll go through a few little things, but with, you know, you're in the bed, don't put the baby in the middle of you and your partner, in the middle of the bed. Obviously, we know new mums, you're tired, you're exhausted, because you are. The baby's on the susu all the time. You're starting to get into that demand feeding, you know, babies, you wake up and go to sleep. Don't wake a sleeping baby. We know that. But one thing I think is really important is have baby on so I guess whatever side of the bed you're sleeping on, have baby on the outside of you, have a good barrier, like a pillow. I know you can get some good
it's like a side barrier.
It's a side barrier,
And
what was the other?
That attach
to the bed now.
And so they're actually, you can go buy them and they're not that expensive, and they slide in under the mattress. And so
the Peppy Pod.
And the Peppy Pod. And I think
it's
that's
a great
something
resource that you can get from your local service.
So you can get from your local service. And I think, so the Peppy Pod, it's designed, it's, for all intents and purposes, it's like a plastic box. And it's got holes in it for, you know, ventilation, and you can have it on the bed with you. You can have it in the lounge with you, and the baby, as per the guidelines, you know, you will learn this, you know, through the programs with the midwives and family support workers or whomever, you know, your community. Baby's placed at the end of the whether the baby's in the cot or in the Peppy Pod.
With their little tooties down the bottom.
Yeah, we want their little tooties down the bottom, less room, wiggle, because we know they wiggle.
It.
And then also, you know, that nice wrap, you know, whether they're swaddled inside or whatever. But I just think there are so many safe ways to co-sleep. And I think, you know, I'm certainly not going to be here to tell you not to co-sleep because I'm not at home with you 24/7, you know, with your beautiful little bubs. And, you know, if we can, I think information becomes power. You're empowering you. And the more information that you have, you know, that's the best thing. I can start from fresh.
Awesome. That sounded like a mum
calling through now.
Kate.
That was an orchestra.
So there you go. There's definitely some safe ways to co-sleep, and I think, you know, if you do have a question about that, you know, your local, especially BIAC might be able to help you, or your local Aboriginal Health Service, and there are some resources that you can go to find out that information.
And we're here to provide information, education, to empower women. We don't judge. That's not our bag. We want to keep families healthy and happy. Other things, if you are going to co-sleep, then definitely no alcohol or drugs, smoking. It would really be recommended to not co-sleep if you're under the influence.
100%.
Because we know that the chances of an adverse circumstance increases when you're affected.
And that's it.
I can only, you know, confirm that too, Kate. Like, I remember when I was first, you know, having my baby, and they said to me, no, you don't co-sleep. I'm like, no one's going to tell me not to co-sleep. Like, that's how we do things, right? So, but I do know, I remember, especially getting into those, you know, the 6 weeks into the 4 months where I was just buggered, you know, and I'm trying to get the boobs going and all that jazz. You know?
So it's all happening, isn't it?
Absolutely. And and you're buggered, and you do know when you're laying on your side and baby's, right beside you, you can nod off in a heartbeat, and accidents do happen, and if you're intoxicated for whatever reason, then you are not aware of
and
your
the risk
surroundings.
is a lot higher, isn't
yes,
it?
Absolutely.
You're less responsive to your baby's needs.
So if you're going to co-sleep, plan it. Learn about it, educate yourself, empower yourself about how to do it safely.
100%.
And that way you can continue bonding with your baby, raise your baby, in a safe environment in the way that in which you feel is best.
Yeah, that's some deadly advice, ladies. Thank you for that. We'll talk about how good is the timing. Like if you are a smoker and you are pregnant, how good is the timing once you fall pregnant to either stop smoking or to reduce smoking?
Perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing to make those healthier choices.
100%.
And we know that women during that baby bringing period in their life, that's a really ideal time for them to stop smoking. And a lot of women are making that choice to stop smoking, or at least to reduce the amount of ciggies that they're having a day.
And that's like, and this is an area that I'm really particularly passionate about because in this beginning period, when you are pregnant, there's so many emotions, but one thing that you become aware of, it's not just you anymore, and you go, oh my god, it's not
about you, hey?
It's not about me, it's about this little tot,
embracing that mama bear.
And the reason I'm passionate is because this is where changes are made, and working within BIOC, we see it day in and day out, our deadly mums and these amazing choices. And we're not here to say quit cold turkey. It's a process. It is a huge process, but we're here to, guide you. But, as we touched on earlier, when you make these good choices earlier on, it's passed on to your babies. And then they grow up healthier. Then they make good choices, and it just becomes
stopping that cycle,
we're
isn't it?
stopping that cycle right at the beginning. And I feel like moving forward in our future, that's why I'm so passionate, and I love where I am in this beginning, because I feel like we can work with our mob, we can really make these deadly changes, and that's
not just for mums,
no,
that's for families. Like
I see dads.
I know with my mum, she's not a heavy smoker, but she knew, like when I had Kobe, my first son, I said to her, you've either got to stop or you've got to do the right things if you want to be around my child. And she did, and because, I'm an honest person, I can have honest conversations with people. But mum did, because that's how important it was for her to want to be around Cobes the whole time, and she was once I went back to work, she was also babysitting, so she knew, and same with one of my oldest sisters who's stopped smoking for good now, and I think it was big, it might have prompted her, she's going to have nieces and nephews that are babies, and she's going to have to look after them at some stage or another, so
and they want to be around 100%. To see these babies grow, to be there when they're adults, and really soak them up as long as possible.
Yeah, that's it, because the time does go very, very quickly. And just going off what you were saying, Katie, like the midwives and family support workers, like what you were just saying, you're not there to judge anybody.
No.
You're not there to say to someone, hey, you need to stop smoking because it's no good for your baby. Well, we know that. Everybody, that's
we know
the education is out there. It's that good that we know that. But it's how you guys as midwives and family support workers put them through that process to help them either reduce or to stop smoking, hey? So, like how does that work with you guys?
Yeah, it's a part. Well, I always say to the women, and it's, Kate and I work really closely together, in that midwife and family support worker, it's a partnership. And I just know with our women, we say, you're part of our partnership. This is your journey. And I always thank them. I'm like, it's a privilege. You welcome me into your family, because we're a big part of, the family as well. And so it's really important for us to say, we've been on this journey as well. And they go, oh, they feel a bit better, and they go, it's not easy to change a habit. I mean, what do they say it takes? Is it 6 to 10 weeks something to change? There's to change an actual habit. And
And that's if you've done it the first time. You know what I mean? People relapse a lot of the time. Yeah.
But you got your tool, your tool belt. Yeah. And you keep adding to that tool belt.
You're one step closer to quitting.
100%.
Yeah. But it's important to have those little strategies around what is it that you want to achieve. Yeah, I want to give it up, but you try, and for whatever reason it doesn't work. So let's work on some strategies. First of all, take it out of the house, right? Because you wouldn't believe how much everything around you holds that smell, right?
Carpet, clothes, curtains, everything.
Go and smell it yourself. Your hands, washing your hands, your shirt that you're wearing.
And if you can smell it, those toxins are there.
Baby can smell it as well.
Well, that's one thing I think we really want to, I think is a big thing that we can touch on now, is that when you smoke, obviously it does go into your clothes. But the scary thing is, and the stats and the research shows, that baby, so if you have a cigarette, you come in, you still wash your hands and everything. You're doing everything right, but you still got that shirt on. That baby's, and you hold that baby, it's like that baby's had that cigarette with you. Yeah. That's how much smoke is retains, and the toxins retain in the shirt. Yep. It's not secondhand. If anything, research has shown that it's worse.
Yep.
So there's some good strategies that women, or even if they've got family or friends coming to visit, what they can really be strong and again embrace that mama bear and say
protective instincts.
Exactly. Say to people, if you're going to smoke, have a ciggy outside wearing a jacket. If you're not wearing a jacket, you need to change your clothes. You need to wash your hands and brush your teeth so that when you're cuddling this precious new baby, they're not exposed to that. And we're not saying this out of judgment. We're saying it out of wanting people to be as healthy as possible.
And that's it. Like, I think for the ladies and the dads out there, don't be ashamed to tell your mob. That's your baby. That's, you're bringing this child into the world. You're the one that's going to be looking after him or her for the rest of your lives. I was going to say 18 years, but I know I still ring my dad.
I'm 35 and I'm like, Mom.
Exactly. And I've got 3 children of my own, and I'm still ringing my parents. So no matter what, they're yours for the rest of their lives. So, you're the ones you're the one that's making that decision on how you shape their life. And by starting as a baby and getting other mob, especially your family, don't be ashamed. Like, don't feel like you're offending them. We probably said worse things to our family in the past, our family members. So don't be ashamed to say, look, no, you mob. If you are smoking, you're not coming near my baby, or you go after you smoke, you go change your shirt, wash hands, brush your teeth. That's really that's it. It's either that or nothing at all. Sorry, but this is my kid and I'll do what I want.
Exactly.
So I think our mob get a little bit intimidated and feel a bit shame and don't want our mob to feel like they feel bad. But at the same time, it's like, no, this is a decision that you've got to make for the
and most mob
child.
Respect that. When you start to set those boundaries, most mob respect that. And as you start to raise your babies and start to parent, you do have to set in some boundaries. You don't actually realize you're doing it, but it does eventually happen, right? Because you're raising this family now, so you have to have some boundaries in place. 100%. And that's where it starts.
We had a really young mum recently who was adamant with visitors that's what they needed to do. She was living with her mum, and her mum was so proud of her because she was right into her. You need to do this, and any visitors as well, you need to change your shirt. She even had a spare shirt at the door for them to wear if they're going out for a smoke.
Awesome.
Protecting Bub.
So there are ways that you can do it without offending people. But at the end, who cares if they get offended, because that's your child. And that's exactly right.
I know. I know. So, and I mean, like, in an ideal world, smoking, would love to see smoking gone, but we're not in an ideal world, and life happens. And some of our mums, like, I talk to them, I always say, yes, you're pregnant and it's a beautiful journey, but life still goes on. Things still happen. You're still like with family, you've still got family things happening, life, and everything. But if you're going to have a cigarette, I'm not here to judge you, but just, you know, take the precautions, change your shirt.
And we'll have a yarn at every visit. We'll have a yarn with women and talk about how they're going, what strategies they're taking, and suggest other strategies.
And tailor things to help them out at the end of the day. So often women access the quit line on 137848 and for individually tailored support to reduce smoking or even better stop altogether. With the hotline, what they provide, you'll have an identified counsellor who will call and check and send out any NRTs if you need it. You know, and pregnant women have access to the Quit Line support program twice per year rather than just once, which is awesome. And we're all working, you know, with you to keep you and your bubs healthy and happy as possible. So what experience have you guys had with women that have access, or have you had experience with women that have accessed the Quit Line? What have been some of the good things that you guys have seen come out of that?
I really love how they do have a identified support counsellor. You know, someone that is there for you, you know, one-on-one, 24/7, but one of our own mob as well that understands them. And I feel that with smoking, it's hard. I mean, it's become such ingrained, you know, it's a routine, it's a stress habit, relief. So for some people it's like a habit. It's for some people it's with you know, whether weight loss or things like that, they get worried if I quit, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's so many different factors. But so with this counsellor, you get an identified counsellor, they check in on you. I know Kate did some amazing research on Saturday herself and actually phoned the hotline, which is good. But awesome, speaking with women, they've said it's good because they will, you know, check in with them. You do a plan. I think that's important. Anytime you're quitting, like you need a plan. Step, you know, your first step obviously is your oral nicotine with lozenges, gum spray, the inhaler, and then if that's not quite meeting the needs, then you move on to patches. Which, you know, and the counsellors and the specialists on the Quit Line and even yourselves know what's safe and what's not to be having, you know, for mums that are pregnant, don't you?
Absolutely.
And you can access that NRT service through any AMS as well as the BIOC hub as well.
Awesome.
So
that's good
we're
to
all
know.
there. You just tap in with the resources that are there. You know, call me out to your family support worker or your midwife and let them know.
So it's not just the Quit Line.
We've actually within BIOC,
and the AMSs are I'm keen, you know, and definitely sign you up.
And then that trickle down effect is so great and so important when you do embark on that journey of stopping smoking. Awesome. Your baby, your whole family, that's one thing that you're doing, one choice that you're making to improve your lives drastically.
And that's it. And then it's good to use those people as well that have, you know, been through that journey of being a heavy smoker and then have gone, hey, I'm about to have a baby. I want the best for my child. And it's good to use those people as well. It's sort of like role models, isn't it? So your own local community role models that can do that type of stuff and yarn to women that are wanting to give up smoking whilst they're pregnant. So that's those journeys are really good to retell as well, as is anything, you know what I mean? People that have been through those types of things. So
Kate, smash a myth for me, right? I was at the hub one day. Try. And I hope I don't get this wrong. So I was at the hub one day and one of our awesome nurses said to me that they had an experience with one of our mums. They knew straight away that mum had just come out from having a ciggy and gone straight into her appointment. Mum had washed and brushed and all that jazz, but when she listened to baby's heartbeat, she could tell that mum had had a cigarette because she said
faster.
Baby's heartbeat was a lot faster. And at that point, it was even demonstrating at that moment, at the choice that mum was making, she was putting stress on her, unnecessary stress on her baby, unborn baby. So if you think of it just from that aspect, you know, that even just through that one little break that I'm having. Well, you're putting that pressure on your bub.
Yeah.
You know,
And your placenta as well.
It crosses the placenta barrier.
Yeah.
and what
so-
does that mean?
Yes.
So if it does,
So the placenta is basically the life force of your baby. So it's like a filter attaching you and your baby. If the placenta comes away from the wall of the uterus, that's called a placental abruption, and that has detrimental effects for babies, for women as well. And the chances are increased of that happening for women who smoke.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's really good to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So no, that's fine. It's great. It's great to know these types of things. I think these realistic talks, you know, and it's hard to have these conversations with pregnant women. Once again, you don't want to offend them, but you need to educate them, and that's what you guys
you
are
make
doing
an informed
really well.
choice as a woman, as a mum. You know, make an informed choice, and that's the impact.
Deadly. And so, I mean, depending on like each woman's need, it may be best to make behavioural changes as well. I mean, and I suppose avoiding other smokers, you know, it's tricky at times and not always easy, but what are some of the behavioural changes you can, I suppose, advise to some of our mob out there thinking about, you know, quitting smoking or
So, as you said, avoiding other
people,
smokers, which
I
is
know,
really
I know.
tricky. That's really, really tough.
It is hard.
Especially if your partner smokes. Really great opportunity for them to stop smoking as well. And, you know, people that you live with, your community. It's a hard one, but it is really important, if you can, avoid them. Other techniques are, I love these 5 Ds that Katie's written down. The delay, so put it off as long as you can. Drink water, awesome. So, you know, you're having that habitual process of drinking your water, using your hand. It's coming up to your mouth instead of having a toxic ciggy.
I'm going to be a bit of a devil's advocate here. So another one that you could do, it's not good for your teeth, but it's that habit. It's that, routine of hand to mouth.
Yep.
And it is, and you talk to a lot of smokers and people that have quit smoking or reduced, and they're like, it's just that movement. So when they're having a cup of tea, you sit down, what do you do? And I thought, but one really good thing, and that's probably why you do see a lot of smokers with lollipops, it's that hand to mouth routine.
And
sugar free.
They're part of NRTs. They've got a
There
lollipop.
is an option.
There is.
Yeah.
And I know Kate and I are laughing. Like, if you do have, you know, diabetes, we could look at a sugar-free option.
like,
there are sugar-free options.
Water. I know Kate's like, water.
But I suppose when you are sucking on a lollipop, you're always sort of, it's in and out of your mouth, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the same actions that you're doing with the smoke. But there are sugar-free options, aren't there?
There we go. I know. I mean,
deep breathing as well. So, you know, not only is deep breathing really great as a distraction technique, you're breathing in that good fresh air, thinking about that oxygen going down to your baby, nourishing your beautiful baby, rather than, you know, you often take a deep breath when you've had a drag on a cigarette. You're breathing fresh air if you're taking those nice deep breaths, whereas if you're breathing in smoke, it's not fresh. It's not the best for you, not the best for your bubba.
It's hundreds of toxins going into your baby. Keeping busy seems to be another way. You know, distracting yourself is a great tool. Like there's so many things in our lifestyles these days, and that's for everyone. That's not just for, you know, that everybody's busy at some stage doing something. You know, keeping busy is a perfect way to sort of distract yourself from going out and having a ciggy, isn't it? Getting baby's room ready, cleaning the house.
Cleaning the
house.
house.
You're always going to be, you know, what's the word when you're coming Coming
nesting.
close. Nesting.
Yeah.
You nest. God, I haven't
get
done that
that.
in a while. But yeah, you're going to be nesting.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are so many ways to keep yourself busy, you know, going out, doing the shopping, going for a walk, you know, and it's taking your mind away.
And that's
from
when it's
picking
a
up
good
ciggy, isn't
opportunity
it?
to do the self-care. You know, go have a warm bath, go do some colouring, you know, those types of things.
Mindfulness.
Yeah,
stuff.
There's one over
mindfulness,
here does her jewellery making.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, I know.
those
I think
types
I'm
of
wearing
things.
some earrings right now.
It's getting those small, short-term habits, that, you know, hobbies that can help.
So important to
distract you.
have.
Yeah.
And
looking
I
at
think,
your Deadly Mums app.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about
Deadly
that in a
Mums
minute.
app.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
with the Deadly Mums app, you can actually start to see it. You know, when you put it in, and we'll have a yarn about Deadly Mums app later,
Yeah.
but when you put your due date in, it starts showing you the size of your baby and stuff. So
awesome.
looking at that, you know, going, oh, my baby's this big now, and it does get to your head. It has
does,
to, yeah. About
And
how important it
and
is,
that's where changes are made, because like we touched on before, when you're pregnant, you go, it's not just me. And we get a lot of women that go, it's not just me anymore. Like it's I've got this baby inside growing. So it's a good time for change.
Let's talk about the change and taking that journey about cutting down and you know, hopefully you know, giving up altogether. That's our end goal, you know. We want to see mums giving the smokes up altogether, but there is a process and there is a journey. And can you ladies take me through what a journey could look like for a mum that might be a heavy smoker and that has come to quit? What was her journey like, or what do you guys see, any of the trends or anything like that?
So often by the time we meet with women, so they're sort of towards that 20-week mark, often earlier, but, you know, towards that point in their pregnancy, and we ask questions about cigarettes, smoking. We ask loads of questions, but
standard
in regards
questions, aren't they?
Yeah, for every
Everybody.
woman. Yep. And one of the sets of questions is about smoking, and often for me, women who have been heavy smokers have started that process of reducing the amount, because we're lucky to live in a society where we've got access to information all the time, and they're clever. They go, I love my baby already. I want to make these good, healthy choices. So oftentimes they've started reducing. There might be little flare-ups from time to time where they'll, you know,
stress,
have a few more if they're stressed, which we think is a good stress release. But in fact, the stress response in your body is greater to smoking than what it would be if you didn't smoke. But you got to do what you got to do to get through it, life in general. So
and it's okay. It's okay if you know, fall back on, but hey, it's about how do you respond to that? Let's try again. Yeah, all right, stuff.
Or try another strategy
that's
to
it.
react to
stress. Don't be
stress.
hard on yourself.
And we've had, you know, and we, you know, quite a few women we've had on the journey throughout BIOC that have been really heavy smokers. And like Kate said, you know, they might, whether for some reasons when they're pregnant, they start to cut down. But I think it's about, you know, the education and then that face-to-face. And because they're not only supported, like they've got a family support worker and they've got a midwife, but we've got a really big wide team with BIOC as well. We've got, you know, social work and psychology and just amazing access to different services. But we do the smokealizers. Now, they're a good tool. So it's a tool that you, so like a smokalizer, you blow into it and it does your oxygen, like the tidal volume and things like that. So what we do, carbon monoxide, and so what they do is the women that come in when we say, hey, do you want to try it? And they go, no. And we go, no, it's okay. It's just a tool to show you. And more often than not, they go, all right, just show me. And because it shows you what the baby's receiving as well. And so more often than not, they've smoked during the day before they've come to the appointment, and they do it, and their faces, the readings can be quite scary, but we're there with them, and we go, oh, we'll do it with you. You're not going to be alone. We'll do it with you. And that tool is great because then it starts.
And they don't feel judged.
They
you know what I
don't.
mean?
If anything, it becomes a game because now we've got women that come in and go, quick, can we do that, Rita?
Yeah.
So they're asking us now,
That's
can
good.
they do
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Look at how much lower it is. I've been it's better.
I've been,
There you go.
and so
That's perfect.
you know, it's really great. And I've seen, like I have seen, and you know, hand on heart, women quit, and they've come back to the program again. And they're like, no, I don't smoke. And then, you know, they'll tell stories and things. So
perfect. That's around the education, hey? The education, learning,
support,
all those types of
love,
things. It's perfect.
And looking at women's individual needs.
100%.
So, you know, they're really our guide. We work with women depending on what their needs are. So, you know, it's all completely individualized. There are definitely guidelines, but we use whatever tools are necessary and the best ones for that family.
100%.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we spoke about the 5 Ds just before, but we'll go through them again. The 5 Ds to distract you. Delay, drink water, distraction, deep breathing, and disgust. Do you want to have a bit of a yarn about that, Christy? And what's that about?
Yeah, well, you know what? The good old thing is pick up the phone and have a yarn with someone. Just again, it's another distraction point. And even though we don't necessarily see mum at the very beginning of her pregnancy, right? Me as mob, I know sister girl over here she's a smoker. She's just fallen pregnant. You know, I love my sister and I want her to have a strong, healthy baby. So it's my obligation to say, hey, how you going? I know you're smoking. You know, let's yarn about that. Do you want to decrease? Call me when you're feeling like you need to release some stress, when you need to have a good yarn, and when you want to go, you know, have a ciggy instead. Well, call me and we'll have a yarn about something. You know, so just those types of strategies.
Just distracting them by discussing.
Sure.
And
it's not just, it's up to us as community as well to support our mob from the moment they fall pregnant. You know, to helping them make smart choices as well.
It's really important to come together. And that's the main thing.
Perfect.
We always let our mums know you're part of the BIOC family, and that means that you've got, through us and support and love, you've got the wider family. You know, 100%. With community
and other mums too,
and other mums.
That's really important. That's where I think that empowering, knowing that there's other mums there and that are going through
the same
thing, whether it be smoking or not, whether it be other things, you know, our families or whatever. That you've got each other to lean on, plus you know, you guys are the bonus as well, which is lovely. Oh, thank you for talking to me today about that. We're going to move on to baby massaging. It sounds so cute, eh? Oh, darling, little fat rubs, the little fat rolls.
Bust their cheeks up.
Bust them up.
Oh, dude.
And we mean busting them up in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bit of a Murray thing, that we like to bust our kids up at the same time. You got to understand what that means, You got to buy them. I think my sister said, I want to just chuck her over the fence. That's a bit going a bit far, but okay, cool. Who's going to catch it?
Who's going to catch her?
Hey, but that's how
trampoline.
That's how we carry on, little silly ways. But talk about baby massage during pregnancy. And the benefits of it, and post-pregnancy, obviously when baby's out and we're like, you know what I mean? So the benefits of baby massage, who wants to start on that one?
Well, I thought, you know, baby massage is actually one of my amazing things that I love to do. Like at BIOC, we have our community days, and that's, you know, part of the program. We do baby massage, and that's the one where I think all of Brisbane attend, which is good. But what I might do is Kate, I know you do. Kate, she's a wealth of knowledge, and with pressure points and everything, especially during pregnancy, you know, with that massage, I might hand that over to you, because Kate says things to me and I go, oh, what pressure point? Oh, for what? And I go, let's do that.
Perfect.
So for pregnant women, there's really great benefits to having massage. You want to go to a massage therapist that is certified in pregnancy massage, because there are points that are quite sensitive and shouldn't be focused on when you're pregnant. There's acupressure, acupuncture are amazing in terms of readying the body to welcome your baby into the world and reducing discomfort that you might be having. There's really great pressure points in terms of getting the cervix ready, which is what's opening up when you're in labor to welcome your baby into the world. And when some women have a posterior baby, they experience back pain.
What's a posterior baby, Kate?
That is when the baby's back is towards the mum's back. Yeah. So we can help bubbers move around to the front so that their back is towards the front. It's just an easier, clearer pathway for the baby to come down and out.
And it helps the mum too, eh?
Definitely helps that mum. Are you talking from is there experience coming from you?
So yeah, we want that baby's back. So whenever you're envisaging your baby on the inside, think about Bubba's back towards your belly button. And yeah, we can help them move around to the front if they're being a little bit stubborn, or even if Bub's in a really great position and the mum is experiencing back pain. There's really good pressure points to really just knead in, just put that pressure up on her lower back and in the middle of a bum cheeks, really, to just.
I know.
You know the one.
I think even non-pregnancy, I get that.
Yeah, right. But you don't need to only do that during pregnancy. Thank you.
But I know the spot. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And also, massage is great in terms of loosening up the muscles and the ligaments. You want everything to be nice and free and flexible to welcome your baby into the world. Don't mind me just wiggling in my chair.
It's good.
Normally we're rocking.
Yeah, the ladies out there, just imagine when she's talking, imagine doing it, because this is what she's actually physically doing right now.
If there could be a fly on the wall when we do, appointments and things, like if we're talking about breastfeeding, like the susus, we're like showing, or we're rocking and we're showing. Yeah, we're like, don't mind us.
That's a good thing. The more information,
absolutely,
the better. Hey, yeah, we'll keep going. Yeah,
wealth of knowledge.
And even during labour there are some massage that us midwives or your support people, we wrote those support people in. Definitely, it's great for them to be hands-on, get involved.
And they love it generally because they want to be a part of it, because normally
they're not just a spectator. They're not just watching their woman go through an intense situation. They can contribute and support them, love them through it. So babies.
Babies.
That's all right.
No, there's many benefits, for baby massage. I think the first thing for me is when you get that newborn home, we really want that beautiful bonding and attachment happening, but also an unsettled baby for whatever reason, and we can touch on those as well. And you start a routine. And it's nice for you and that baby to start a routine. And I've actually seen through my sister, she with all her kids, but the little one Hunter, she started baby massage from the moment he was born, and even up at till 18 months of age, he would be in the position because it was just every night, I'm ready, warm that oil up. Oil up, and and he would stretch the legs out and things, and I really explain that when we do the baby massage classes, that babies really benefit, health benefits from it as well. And then I've had mums come back when they've done it, because they might come a few times for baby massage, and we say, welcome, and they go, my baby's getting into this routine, which is kind of nice. But settling and it's also a good thing, because part of baby massage is putting babies on their stomachs, and I guess parents get really scared with the newborn. They're like, can we do that? Yes, it's great benefit for baby to start straight away.
The neck stretch,
stretching
out.
Awesome. And you guys, and obviously with BIOC, you guys are doing those lessons, I suppose, all the time, aren't you?
So I did a baby massage course as a mum with my second baby, and that was really, really beneficial for us. She was a bit of a windy bubba, so a bit unsettled in the tummy, and it was just such a joy and a pleasure to know that we had another tool to help her feel more comfortable and calm her down.
That's awesome. Because wind is a huge thing, isn't it?
It really is
with our babies, especially if they're bottle fed as well. So without having to buy them the drops or all those types of things that you put in their milk. This is a bit of a more natural way to be able to relieve that wind and that pain. Oh, that's just so beautiful. It makes me want to have another baby. At the same time, I'm like, I know what I'm about to go through. So, and dads can be involved in that, and I think that's a really good bonding thing for the dads to be involved, because obviously they do have a connection with the baby, but obviously they haven't, brought the baby into the world physically. Well, they have in a way, but you know what I mean. So they
at the start,
at the start, so they create it. But I think it's a good way for them to be able to bond. With
and good
babies.
for the mum to have some mum time.
Mum time, yep.
So that she can step out, know that her man or her partner are there having that great bonding time, nurturing, supporting, loving their baby, and she can go and have a cuppa, go for a walk.
She's not mum anymore. She's I'm Mel. Like
the woman.
I'm actually glad, Kate, you just said just not your dad, it's a partner as well. So because we do need to remember that same-sex partners and stuff as well. So it's great that we always need to remember that, because it's not always going to be your common mum dad families. You know what I mean? So that's
it might be nan,
100% mum, aunties. It could be a male relationship as well.
And that's why we say it's
remember.
whomever that supporting person or persons is. Because like you said, what is family these days? And that's what I love.
It's beautiful.
It is. And that's why it's good to have that connection where mum can go, okay, I'm going to hand over this, beautiful bonding experience for whomever, the partner or whomever, and it's beautiful. So they can, whether they come home from work or, mum can go have a cup of tea. And with the routine, I like to say with our mums, the best time for massage is, any time, because we all like massage and babies do generally love it, but is, after the baby's had a bath. Or if you shower, whatever.
They're just so dopey and relaxed. And they're like, oh, give me more.
And so you got that time and you do the massage then and then you have, bit of susu or bit of bottle, bed, see ya. There's
exactly.
Tick.
And it's great to get that routine happening really early. Because then they continue with that routine. They feel secure, they feel stable in that environment, and then they know what's coming their way.
They do.
So they're very comfortable to hopefully sleep through the night when that time comes. So getting that routine up as soon as you possibly can is helpful. Important.
100%. And you guys mentioned before that you do baby massage at the hub on community days. So when and what does that look like?
Well, just at the moment, I guess with COVID, things have been a little different. But we're getting, in that really great stage 3, so things are returning to normal. So we are going to start having community days on Fridays. So we have them at our hub in Salisbury, and we, have amazing list of different activities or bonding or whichever that we have for our mum and our community to come in. So for something like baby massage, we send it, out to our mums and invitation, and we just say, bring your babies, and we supply. So we and it's great because they not only they get to see other mums and they really form, really good partnerships. It's empowering. And we get, partners that come in as well. We get everything, grandparents, everyone, and because they want to learn. And so we do, and, you know, we all sit together, so we're on the same length together. It's not just someone, you know, talking. It's actually visual, and we do it with the babies.
Beautiful.
And then we pass it around. And
I think I'm going to come out there when all the COVID stuff's on just to play with all the babies.
Keep an eye on our Facebook page anyway.
Please,
and we'll promote it through
we'll
there,
promote it.
and have a yarn with your family support worker about when it is scheduled, because it's definitely, and we will have something every Friday as we always have.
Awesome.
And the baby massage is usually every 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, but if you are unsure, you mob out there, just give you guys a call.
Please give us a call.
Perfect. So we might move on to this is probably one of the most exciting ones, is the Deadly Mums app that has been created. I'm so excited to talk about this. Obviously I wish I had this around when I was pregnant with my 3 babies, but now I'm able to refer it onto new mums and mums that are going around the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever time. So Christy, this is one of your babies and you're very, very proud of it, obviously. Tell us a bit more about the Deadly Mums app.
Yeah, so the app is a tool that mum can access at any which time, of course, and it just goes through, you know, it's a guided tour to mum's pregnancy and then up till, you know, baby's however old, but it just gives her some insight to, how big baby's growing, etc., but more importantly, the importance of having mob around, the importance of connecting with country, the importance of self-care, and how do you do that, and what strategies are in place to actually do that. You know, so there's all of these awesome things that you can access through this tool that are culturally appropriate, that are about, you know, us fellas and what we actually need in our language too. 100%. So we understand it and we know what that all means, you know. So it's an awesome tool that's, you know, now being released, that we've been working on for a wee while now, and our mums have really contributed to it significantly to help build it. So we're really pleased to be able to have this tool for anyone to be able to download now and
that's it, like any mum, Aboriginal, Torres Strait, non-Indigenous, anyone can download this app. Like for me, I've downloaded it, I've played around with it, had a look, and I just think it's amazing. And I think being an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander woman, we spoke about this before, Christy, it's made by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's why it's culturally safe, it's culturally appropriate. We know what the things are we need to connect with our baby, whether it be, you know, family, whether it be, you know, resources, and we have, and you guys have created these amazing resources that you can link into. You know, if it's not here on the app, we've provided you links to resources and everything. And just looking at it is just you know, you look at it, you get into it for the first time, it's like, oh, this is so calming. The illustrations is you know, culturally appropriate.
It talks to us, doesn't it?
It really does, and it's so easy to use, and that's what I love. I went on and I created. I'm currently, well, I'm not everyone,
but you are gammon.
I'm gammon over here. So I'm currently 35 weeks pregnant. No, but it's so easy to use, and the resources, you know, are culturally safe. You feel good. You got that connection, you know, and I just love the different
feel to it.
Right?
It's a completely different focus. It's got all the clinical aspects on there.
That's the normal ones have. But
it's what's important to us, and that's connection, that's mob, that's community, you know, and that is all in there, you know.
And it's beautiful, and I think, you know, like it references a lot of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander practices and protocols and what we would use back in the day, and how that is relevant to how we are in the modern day, because it's really quite the same. It's just worded a lot differently.
You know what
and
I mean? It's just and that's what's great. It's combining the two, because you know, that's so important to us as mob. Like I feel having this is just changing everything, you know, so I'm really excited.
100%.
It's awesome. I love the welcome, how you can put your details in and then you put your mob in, and that it comes out with the family tree.
It's beautiful.
It's really beautifully done.
And how like connection is so important to our family. We spoke about before, you know, a village always raises a child within our communities, you know. We're always looking out for each other. You know, we're always making sure that kid, you know, I remember all my dad's friends, you know, would be keeping an eye on me if I was even, you know, and that's from birth until, you know, even now
you can't do anything.
You can't, because they'll be ringing your mum and dad dad going, yeah, I had this girl doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, gee, they can never just stop. But at the same time, it's about that kinship. It's about that care for each other and that our connection. And it's always going to be that way.
And you wouldn't want it any other way either. You want to embrace that, especially when you're raising your own family.
Yeah, and this app gives you a lot of that stuff that we already understand. And if not, and it's such a good app, because if you don't have mob, you know, that you could be living in Brisbane, but you're originally from, you know, Charleville, you know, or vice versa. You're from Brisbane, or you're out there, you know, at Cunnamulla somewhere, you know. This app is a perfect way to, you know, it's for resources. It's exactly the same as if you were living in Brisbane. And if you need a bit more information, there's always information there that you can go in and find. You know what I mean?
Reach out to others. Yeah.
And any of the links, when the resources that I've noticed, helpful resources, is whenever you click on a resource and it throws you to a link to go if you need more information, it's all culturally appropriate information that's been linked to.
That's linked
so whether it be another website or it'd be, you know, another source of resource, it's always the culturally appropriate stuff, and that's that's Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander families relevant. But I suppose, you know, some of the other features and benefits, you know, it talks about morning sickness. It talks about, you know, your strong body. So, you know, your first GP, it takes you right through that journey. It does. Know, when you're due for certain scans, all the clinical stuff that you spoke about. It has all that stuff still, but with, you know, a mix of our mob. Which is really, really beautiful. And are you able to tell us, Christy, where you can get this app?
So if you go to your Google App Store, is that it?
Yeah.
Samsung.
You're a Samsung woman.
I am a Samsung.
So and Apple, you can just go to the Apple Store. I got mine off Apple Store.
Nice and easy.
So either of them. So the Google Play Store, I think it is, and to your Apple your App Store that's on your Apple iPhone.
Or even if you put some people, if you are on their iPad, you can put it into Google.
Yeah, perfect. So get on there, ladies and men and anyone, and have a play around with it, and have a, you know, if you are looking at having a baby, and like I said, you don't have to be an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander person to download this app. And I know a lot of my friends, you know, my non-Indigenous friends will love this app just because I know what type of people they are, and they like to that kind of connection and that kind of non-judgmental ways of learning. And this is what this app gives you. So it's absolutely beautiful. The illustrations are beautiful. I'm so proud of it as an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander woman. I wish it was around when I was having my kids, because I ain't having any more kids. But thank you, ladies, for joining me today. It's been a beautiful yarn about our mums and bubs and how we're bringing beautiful young Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander girls and boys into the world, and we want them to be strong girls and boys, and I thank you for doing what you do. It's beautiful. I love the BIOC program. I love all, you know, anything babies. I mean, I was a big, you know, crazy footballer. You wouldn't have thought I was this mushy, but when it comes to kids, you know, I'm all kids. It's all about my kids, and it's all about our children and making strong families these days. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks for having us, Bo. It's been lovely.